One is just what was on display. There was a lot of new kit, if you like, some stuff that hadn't been public in the West before, it was a display that, any parade is just a parade, but we already are starting to see little pieces of combat action that show the capabilities of China's equipment, something that was always a kind of huge question mark before. So you had recently the conflict between India and Pakistan, in which Pakistan had Chinese jets with Chinese air-to-air missiles, which took down brand new French Rafale jets. So we can, we're starting to see their capabilities, and that was, there on display just to show quantity and intent. And the other simple point, I think, was just who he had watching. So next to him were Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un. Both are sort of pariahs of the West, and it was a very clear signal that these are my friends, these are our allies, they are legitimate. We are not going to listen to what the US says about who our friends and allies should be.
I mean, do NATO and its allies need to be worried about how central a role Putin is playing there? And we've had this announcement too of plans for a gas pipeline as well.
Yes, they do need to be worried. Not in this. So there's quite a lot of comments saying that don't pay too much attention. These different countries have a lot of conflicting interests. You had Narendra Modi, who went to the SCO summit, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit, which is a military alliance, just the day before. But he didn't stay for the parade, not least because China and India were only a few years ago at war in a continuing border dispute, and China is the primary now military and economic supporter of Pakistan, which is India's nemesis. Same with Russia and China. They're doing very well now. They have a strong alliance and partnership, but they have an enormous border with historical disputes. Much of the Far East was taken by Russia in what the Chinese refer to as the unequal treaties, where, for example, Britain got Hong Kong, and most of that China's got back, but not the Russian areas. At the moment, they don't talk about that, but the Russians are very aware that they have a sparsely populated, large piece of territory that was once claimed by China, and where and next doors they have a superpower with more than 1 billion people. So there are genuine kind of reasons why you won't get a NATO building up, but that doesn't stop them providing the troops and ammunition, for example, from North Korea that are enabling Russia to pursue the war.